And after several hours of high drama, the Pakistan-UAE match at the Asia Cup has started. The Pakistan Cricket Board had placed some demands with the ICC, threatening to boycott the tournament if they were not met. But Pakistan has once again been embarrassed. And all that happened was a 1-hour delay to the match. The Pakistan Cricket Board was in a meeting through the day contemplating a boycott of the Asia Cup. The team was initially instructed not to leave their hotel as the meeting continued. However, the boycott plan was eventually dropped around 6 p.m. local time in Dubai, and the team left for the stadium. Now, the entire controversy stems around the match referee Andy Pycroft. Pakistan had first demanded his removal from the panel for the entire tournament. That was because the PCB blamed Pycroft for the Indian players refusing to shake hands with the Pakistan team at the end of the match on Sunday. That demand was rejected as the ICC denied their claim that it was Pycroft who was responsible for India's refusal. The PCB then wanted Pycroft to be replaced specifically for Pakistan's matches in the Asia Cup. That included today's match against UAE. That too was struck down by the ICC. PCB now claims that Pycroft apologized for prohibiting the two teams from shaking hands on Sunday. The Cricket Board also says that the ICC is willing to investigate the alleged code of conduct breach, but no public statement has come from ICC or Pycroft on the matter. The PCB has once again been left red-faced after throwing a tantrum. This was another case of saber-rattling. The question now is, will Pakistan be punished by the ICC for what is clearly an unnecessary delay of an international match? All right, and a new national poll has revealed alarming insights into the deepening fracture within the American society. As political violence continues to surge, the findings point to a nation gripped by fear, frustration, and a growing sense that democracy itself may be at risk. The poll reveals that 63% Americans believe the tone and nature of political discourse today does a lot to encourage violence. Another 31% say it contributes little. It shows that almost most Americans are alarmed by the toxic language and partisan rhetoric dominating the political landscape. The survey also paints a portrait of a nation deeply uneasy about its future. What's even more alarming is the breakdown of the nation's mood. The survey shows that 79% of Americans believe the country has become less tolerant of differing viewpoints in just the past 2 decades. The deepening polarization is felt most acutely across political lines, with 71% of the respondents agreeing that American society is broken. This fracture has led to an increasing sense of unease and fear, with 66% of the respondents worried that political violence could soon spill over into their communities. The rise of political violence is something experts are increasingly worried about. According to researchers tracking these incidents, the first half of this year saw nearly twice as many politically motivated attacks as the same period last year. The survey also shows that Americans are paying attention to the growing number of violent incidents. While 68% of the respondents had heard a lot about the killing of Charlie Kirk, only 26% were aware of the June killings of Democratic lawmakers Melissa Hortman and her husband. This disparity is scary. It underscores the national focus on politically motivated violence. It also raises critical questions about the direction the country is headed in. This imbalance in attention paints a troubling picture, one where certain incidents are amplified and others are largely ignored. Experts warn that this selective outrage only deepens this rift, encouraging more violent responses to political tensions. While this appears to point towards a cascading impact of political rhetoric on rising violence, President Trump, who survived 2 assassination attempts last year, has used the killing of ally Charlie Kirk to launch attacks on his political rivals. Trump said, and I'm quoting, "We have radical left lunatics out there, and we just have to beat the hell out of them."
Not really. I'm really concerned for our country. We have a great country. We have a radical left group of lunatics out there, just absolute lunatics, and we're going to get that problem solved. I'm only concerned for the country.
As the nation faces these challenges, many are asking, will Americans be able to bridge this divide, or is the country headed for further polarization and unrest? And in a significant development signaling a potential shift, perhaps pointing to a moment of finality in the decades-long internal battle against Maoist insurgency, the outlawed Communist Party of India, Maoist, has announced a temporary suspension of its armed struggle. This move, accompanied by a call for a 1 month ceasefire to facilitate peace talks with the central government, marks a notable change in the dynamics of this conflict. Take a look.
The Maoist leadership, through a statement issued, expressed a willingness to lay down arms and engage in dialogue with the government. They proposed a temporary halt to their armed activities, contingent upon the government's declaration of a ceasefire and suspension of security operations. This proposal comes after a period of intensified security operations and the loss of key Maoist leaders, indicating a possible strategic recalibration by the insurgent group. Let's take some of the recent developments for example. Pothula Padmavati, also known as Kalpana or Sujata, the 62-year-old widow of slain Maoist leader Kishinji, surrendered to Telangana police after spending 43 years underground. Her surrender is seen as a significant blow to the Maoist leadership, as she was one of the 15 Central Committee members. Padmavati's decision to lay down arms, influenced by deteriorating health and a desire to reunite with her family, underscores the shifting sentiments within the insurgent ranks. The Maoist insurgency in India traces its origins to the Naxalbari movement of 1967 in West Bengal. Over the decades, it expanded across several states, including Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha, Maharashtra, Kerala, West Bengal, Madhya Pradesh, and parts of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, forming what is known as the Red Corridor. The insurgents claim to fight for the rights of marginalized communities, particularly tribal populations, but their methods included armed violence, extortion, destruction of infrastructure, and recruitment of children and civilians. In recent years, India's multidimensional counter-left-wing extremism strategy, combining security enforcement, inclusive development, and community engagement, has delivered significant success. The movement has been systematically weakened, violence has drastically declined, and many LWE-affected districts are being reintegrated into the national mainstream. The number of LWE-affected districts reduced from 126 in 2010 to 38 in April 2024. In the last 10 years, over 8,000 Naxalites have abandoned the path of violence, and consequently, the number of Naxal-affected districts has reduced to fewer than 20. The Government of India is committed to completely eliminating Naxalism by March 31, 2026, viewing it as the biggest obstacle to the development of remote areas and tribal villages. The recent announcement by the Maoist leadership and the surrender of a senior leader suggests a potential turning point in the insurgency. However, challenges remain. The end of the Red Corridor, once considered a formidable internal security threat, appears to be within reach.